All right, all, we're going to get started here. We really appreciate all of you for joining us today. My name is Ashley Ropar. I am the marketing manager here at Industry Weapons.
And I am Max Schronger. I'm the creative manager here at Industry Weapons as well.
And we wanted to have a webinar that discusses a few of the features and services that we provide on the content side. And a big reason why we think this is just so important is because we know how imperative it is to have really good content on your screens. We all have customers and clients that spend a lot of time and resources investing in a solution, whether it's the software side or the hardware side, and we want to make sure that they spend all this money and it turns out looking really good. The problem with content is getting it looking really good and keeping it fresh is hard. It takes a lot of time and resources, and sometimes people struggle with making sure that their screens are always updated with all the information that they need to show, but it's also looking nice in terms of having all those design elements, the stuff that Max and his team and all those creative graphic designer folks that they pay attention to. We want to make sure that our clients and our customers have that opportunity to have that type of design elements on their screens. So we've come up with a couple of different ways to help those customers out, and we're going to go through two of them right now. The first one is Basic Fundamentals. It's really a content program that we have devised that keeps your content fresh through the use of just a text box, so it's a super simple application, and Max is going to go into that more. And we also have Instant Content, which is really a content and news feed, and there's three different elements to our Instant Content packages that we're going to discuss as well. But first, we're going to get started with Basic Fundamentals, and I'm going to be playing a video in the background, so if you see me jumping around, I apologize, but we really just wanted to show you guys a good visual of what it looks like. So Max is going to take the reins here and tell you a little bit about Basic Fundamentals.
Great, yeah, so Basic Fundamentals was really, like Ashley said, devised to be a super easy, basic, simple way for you to get your message up onto the screen. So really all you have to do is enter your message into a text box, and then that gets pushed to the screens that you have your channel scheduled to. And so the concept behind it, again, is just so that you can focus on your messaging. All the design and things like that are already taken care of for you, and the design changes 3 times a day, and that's on an 8-day cycle. So for 8 days, you'll never see the same designed slide again. So what that does is it sort of just keeps your viewers paying attention, because even if the message hasn't changed, if the way it's being presented has changed, then it sort of feels new. It gives them a reason to look at the screen again, to make sure that they're sort of digesting all of those things. So in sort of the example you can see in the video, you can see that, so you've got your message there, and you can also pull in things like your Facebook feed, your Twitter feed, a curated AP News feed, weather, date, time, and then also the title of the slide is also animated. So there's a lot going on, but you only have to worry about one thing, and that's your message. So again, it's super simple, super easy way to just get a quick message up there. And it does come with the 8 predefined categories, so you have like employee wellness, events, spotlight, performance metrics, just some sort of standard internal communication focused categories. Those are the categories it comes with. We're always open to adding new categories and sort of fleshing those projects out a little bit more. Those are just the 8 that it starts with. So.
Hey Max, could you go into a little bit about how it's branded?
Absolutely. So for every customer, there's a small piece that has to happen before you can sort of jump in here, and that's in the configuration page of your Command Center account. So you do have to be an admin to get in there, but all you're really doing is setting up your colors in your logo and whether you want your Facebook feed, your Twitter feed, weather, date, time, those sorts of things to show up. So you really just go in there, you pick your colors, so if you want like red, white, and blue because you're America, then you choose those, you upload your logo, and then you can jump into the module here and set everything up, and those colors come through, that logo comes through. As you can see in the examples in the video, sort of Industry Weapons branded, so we have like the 2 shades of gray and the red, and then our logo.
Perfect. And I think it's important to note that there's a lot of strategy behind the design of the slides. So instead of just putting out your message with a static slide, we incorporate a couple of different elements in there that make it a lot more eye-catching. So viewership goes up or dwell time increases. And a big part of that is motion. There's always an element of motion to the templates. And there's an element of social or socially relevant. So whether that's even as simple as the weather, or it's a Twitter feed, we have different elements on there that catch the eye, and then you're also attracting them to that main message that you're trying to show. So that's the really big point of it, is that we have those elements of strategy, so we're taking that effort that usually falls on the clients to think about all of those things, design elements, when designing for the digital signage, and we're taking the hassle and the workload off of them. So it's really as simple as typing in a text box, and you get to spin up a bunch of different really cool looking slides in your colors. And this is absolutely free for all of our clients, and it's built right into the Command Center platform. So we're going to move on here, and if you have any questions about basic fundamentals in particular, I'm happy to answer them at the end of the webinar. And if you just want to type in the text box, you're more than welcome to. We're going to move on to our daily content. And our instant content really revolves around 3 different elements. One is your free weekly, which is absolutely free for everybody, and it's free weekly updating content. Max will go in more about that. Basic daily, which is a basic daily news feed, but more around those daily content updates, and then Basic Daily Plus, which includes our AP news feed. So we'll go ahead and share a video on that and let Max dive into the details.
Absolutely. So, like Ashley said, it sort of all starts with free weekly. That's sort of the base. So that content updates once a week, and it runs on like a Sunday to Saturday schedule. So there's content items in there like word of the week, this week in history, joke of the week, that you can push to your screens. We sort of like to think of it sort of as like filler content, because it's not your main message that maybe you purchase your screens to put out all these like HR messaging and things like that. But it is sort of filler. It gets people looking at the screens for something other than your message, so that if there's a super funny joke of the week, they're looking at that and enjoying that, and then their next message might be something that they need to know to sign up for their benefits or your main messaging. So it's just one more reason to get people to look at your screens. And the best part is it's something you don't even really have to worry about. All you really have to do is go in here and check it off and then schedule it to a device, and then it goes from there. So again, it all starts with free weekly. The next one above that is basic daily, and that sort of is the same concept as free weekly, except that content changes every single day. So some of those categories are similar. So there's like word of the day, this day in history, joke of the day, but then there's also some different ones like health and wellness, like a word scramble category. So just, again, some fun things to sort of add into your messaging that sort of mix it up, keep it fresh, and something that you just don't have to worry about to keep your signs looking updated and fresh. And for Basic Daily, the designs on those, just like Basic Fundamentals, they change on an 8-day cycle. So not only is, say, your joke of the day changing, but the way it's presented is changing as well. So then the last part of instant content is Basic Daily Plus, and so you get everything you get in Basic Daily, but then you also get our AP news feeds. So there's a bunch of different categories to choose from. There's like science news, top news, U.S. news, world news, politics news.
Weird news.
Yeah, weird news or strange news. It's one of my favorites. And those feeds, the news stories update once per day, and the images and the headlines are directly from AP News. We do sort of curate and moderate that on our end so that you're not seeing things that might be controversial or maybe inappropriate for some audiences. So it is curated by us, so you don't have to worry, again, don't have to worry about the content you're pushing to the screen.
And so like Max said, it's another piece of that content strategy that we always encourage our customers to have. And that is, at first you may think, well, why would I want anything but my messaging up on the screen? That's why I bought digital signage, to showcase my HR messaging or my employee information up on the screen. But the reality is that some people aren't always looking for where to sign up for the 401k, but we need to get that message out. So a good way to do that is attract the eyeballs to the screen with this fun filler content, and then we can catch that message in the next one. So the way the instant content works is that it kind of can be piecemealed into your traditional messaging, so you are, again, attracting those eyeballs onto your displays. And so that's a really important part of digital signage. You want to keep things fresh and changing, or else you've really just invested in really expensive posters, and that's not something we want for our customers. We want something that is dynamic and fun and catches your eye and really makes sure that your lobby or your cafeteria or wherever you're hanging the signs, it transforms that space and really modernizes it. And one way to do that is to make those screens come to life with dynamic and interesting content. So it's a big focus for us here, and we know how important it is for the success of digital signage deployments. So again, we'll kind of jump back into the slideshow here. And just to reiterate, we have 3 levels of instant content, and this used to be called REDCore. So if you hear or see REDCore on some documentation, is even in the video there, we are making that slow transition, so forgive us for a little bit here while we're transferring everything over, but it is going to be called instant content. And again, there's those 3 levels: basic weekly, basic daily, and basic daily plus, which includes that AP news.
And again, I think we touched on this, but just to reiterate, the free weekly level is available to every Command Center subscriber. So that comes in your account for free, as the title says.
Great. And we like to keep things short and sweet, but I do have a couple questions here that I've been getting over, so we'll address those. One is for basic fundamentals. Is there any type of user permissions associated?
Yeah, you can use the user permissions that are built into Command Center just to sort of restrict access to the module. So if there's a certain group of people or a certain person you don't want changing the messaging out, you just have to sort of use the user permissions that are built into Command Center to handle that.
Great. And how about downloading the templates from Basic Fundamentals?
Yeah, that's a no. And that's just because the program is just designed to, all you have to worry about is the message. You don't have to worry about the design, the extra elements, or anything like that. It's just a really quick, easy way to get the signage up there. If you do need sort of like extra templates and things like that, we do have in our blog. There's always some free templates. I think we do that like once a month. They're like seasonally themed. There are resources for things like that, but Basic Fundamentals is really just your quick update.
Thanks, Max, for plugging our blog. Yes, I love that. Yes, we do a design blog every month that includes seasonal templates that are downloadable right in there in the blog. So that's once a month, and there's design tips and everything that one of our designers, Jenny, writes an awesome piece for us every month. So please check that out if you have a chance. And then the last question I have here for Basic Fundamentals is, how much is it? And we addressed it. It is free, and it's all in every single Command Center account. So moving on to instant content, we asked, how is the content monitored?
Yeah, so sort of like I said with the AP News, we do sort of moderate that in the same with the word scrambles of this day in history. We moderate all that so that you're not getting inappropriate content or things like that. What we like to keep in mind is that this content is going to show up in a K-12. It's like a kindergartner, if they can read, could read this content. So that's sort of the baseline that we keep in place. So yeah, it is moderated by us. If you need like a sample or something to sort of like prove those sorts of things, we'd be happy to provide that.
Great. And how much content do you get when you, let's say, when you get a basic daily?
Yeah, so in the past it was sort of limited to minutes, but we've taken that restriction off. So as many categories as you can select, that's how much content you can have. In the way the scheduling works, you just add it to an existing channel, and then it sort of just pops itself into your playlist. So then as your playlist repeats, the REDCore content repeats throughout the day as well.
Great. And there is a cost associated with the Basic Daily and the Basic Daily Plus, and I am happy to send over any pricing sheets. If you can email creative@industryweapon.com, and we will be happy to answer any additional questions, send over pricing. We do have a tutorial video on basic fundamentals if you'd like to check that out. So we have a lot of material to help assist in anyone educating themselves more on the product. I'd also like to plug our next month's webinar, Highlights, and Highlights is a product devised based off a really good lunch conversation Max and I had one day, and it was around one of our biggest clients sending Max their newsletter and Max turning content from their newsletter into digital signage. And as a marketer, I totally understand the pain of making sure or wanting people to read your newsletter or get that message across. So it's such a simple way to give some more legs to the content that you work on creating for your newsletter. So we're going to be rolling that out, and I hope you guys all join us for next month's webinar on Highlights. And we like to keep these short and sweet, so I will let you guys get back to your busy day, but I'm going to leave the question or comment box open for another 5 to 10 minutes. Be happy to answer those. And we appreciate you all so much for joining us, and we hope you have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye.